Good evening, viewer, and welcome back to yet another episode of The Compass. Tonight we take a different turn, having seen a number of perceptions about women who want to take up space in society, in leadership, high positions in the government, and other spheres of society. Well, that is what we are going to discuss today, the gender debate about women in politics. I have a panel of power women who wear many hats tonight with me in studio, but just before I introduce them, you can follow us on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter at JBN Television. I'll be taking in your comments, reading your feedback on Twitter and Facebook at JBN Television. On Twitter, the hashtag to use is The Compass. Now, these women who I have with me tonight know all too well what it is like to fight for a position and keep it. Thank you so much, ladies, for coming in tonight, for making time for this episode. And I'll start with my immediate left. We have Anika JD, who is the Executive Director for the Green Congress of Kenya. Karibu as you give your opening remarks.
Thank you very much. Quite an honor to be on the set, first of all, because as much as we know about women, the faces of women in politics, the whole machinery of women behind the women who eventually make it to the public platform.
Yes.
So I'm very glad to be here and to shed a light on the role that we play behind the scenes.
Awesome. Next we have Eda. Eda is it's from the Embakasi East constituency and an MCA aspirant come 2022, right? She'll talk about that as she gives her opening remarks. Karibu.
Thank you so much. I'm so privileged to be here today. Yes, my name is Eda Marete. I was MCA aspirant for Embakasi East constituency in 2017.
All right.
And I'm glad now we are starting the path for 2022. So I'm glad to be here and to speak about women in politics. Thank you.
Awesome. So we've seen a number of issues come up with the gender debate. But as a woman who is in politics, you're already in the field and you've been having people come to you, want you to represent them. And probably you could share with us briefly, what are some of the experiences and challenges you may have faced in this field? Yes, Anika.
For me, challenge comes, of course, with age. Being a young woman in politics, definitely, there is the lingering question. Before you prove yourself, before you show people that you're capable of, executing the role or supporting the system of politics, there's always the question of who hired you, who do you belong to, or, who sponsored you to the space.
Yeah.
It's not very common to see young women being in the murky world of politics, although moving towards 2022 we have seen a rise of upcoming strong young women in the space of politics standing up boldly to claim their space, because we have to acknowledge that women are not a homogeneous group. We have women who are young within the women's group. We have women with disabilities. We have rural women. As such, we need to be very categorical and deliberate in acknowledging the various subcategories of women.
Yes.
So, just being in the various subcategory, of course, creates a challenge for you just to prove yourself to the space and say, this is who I am and I deserve to be here in the first place.
Amazing. Yes, Eda, what are some of the challenges you faced as you are from Embakasi East constituency? You've also talked about you aspiring for the MCA position back in 2017. It means that you've been in the field for quite a number of years. What are some of those challenges that you faced?
Okay, most of the challenges we face as women, because even if you look at the background of politics and everything, I'm also in Kiwoka, Kenya Women Candidates, and I'm the national chair lady of Nairobi County. So there's so many challenges we face as women. One of the challenges we face is security. So you find that during campaign, you have to get security. Because so many women complain a lot of security. You'll find that your opponent will definitely send some people to attack you when you're campaigning. So this is a fact that we really need our government to look at. As women, as we go for these positions, also the security to tighten up. So other things we look at is the challenges you meet. Like the culture thing.
Yeah.
You find that people have the culture thing. They don't want to select women in certain positions.
Yes.
And this culture thing, we must look at ways of which we as Kenyans can be able to end. We're looking at Rwanda. Most of the times when I look at Rwanda, I look at how many women are getting into parliament. Majority of women get to parliament.
Yes.
So I look back in Kenya and ask myself, what is happening in Kenya that we can't even meet at that threshold? So we really need to emphasize more on women in politics.
Yes.
And anytime a woman stands and says, I want to go for that position or that position, we need the government to support.
Yes.
Let's have government supporting. Let's have women supporting. The young, the youth supporting. And I think we'll move forward.
That's quite interesting. But with these challenges, what keeps you going? What makes you stay there? What motivates you despite all these challenges? You're saying, I'm still going to pursue, I am still going to go for that position, despite these security issues, despite the culture issues. What keeps you going?
Okay, what keeps me going more is the courage and then the positive attitude. I try to gain more of positive than looking at the negative. So even as I sit with women and they try to talk the negative thing, I try to show them what is the positive about it. What can we achieve as women? If women will maintain and we get the gender thing, not being by nomination, but being elected, we'll be able to serve a lot of things. And if you look in places where women are elected, there is quality of life.
Yeah.
You are able to take care of these youth. You are able to take care of other things in this country. So you'll find that like Kenya now, we are having high rate of, I'll say we'll hear corruption here and there.
Yes.
But if we put women in these positions, you'll find that there's less corruption. Because if we maintain the gender and we have that being represented in government or in parliament, you'll find decision making is at least in a quality thing. It's not just one team making, the men favoring their side or the women favoring their side. At least we'll have one agenda to drive home.
All right, just on that issue and point you've said about corruption, we've seen women also be highlighted in these scandals that we are having in our country. Could it be that it's a moral decay, or what is it that, because you're talking of women in these positions and they're not being corruption, but again, we've also seen women in these scandals as well?
What I can say with women in these scandals, I think they're being used in one way or another. Because people know when I have a woman in this side, we'll be able to play this system thing. I'm looking at it like the incident we saw yesterday in Murang'a, where we saw the lady who had gotten hurt and who was able to testify that I was given 1,000 to come to this move. We're able to see a lady losing a lady during that commotion. So we are able to look and see women are being used in the wrong way. So we should purpose, and that's why I kept on saying we look at the positive. How do we build ourselves towards the positive and we stop looking at the negative?
All right, Anika.
Well, I would just add and say, I think it's a severe patriarchal double standard to say that women's leadership does not work because 1, 2, 3 women are charged of corruption. Because for centuries since the days of Aristotle and Plato, we've had men in power. We've also had a substantial percentage of those men being charged for corruption. We had a whole slew of Goldenberg and Lulisi and so forth. But there's no day anyone has stood up to discredit the leadership of men because 1, 2, 3 men were charged for corruption. As such, I feel like the standards for women are so high. We have to work twice as hard to get half of what they have, because it seems like it's a slice of cake you're being given, and you really need to prove why you need that slice of cake. As such, any woman in power is a pedestal for the hundreds of women who are behind her. If she fails, the society closes a curtain on the hundreds of women behind her who have the potential to lead or to be better. And I see society, actually, why women don't get elected. They ask that yet we are the majority. It's a societal issue. It's a narrative that has been perpetuated. When they say that, you need to, why can't you compete competitively? But then, we have to go back and unpeel the issues. If we go back to management of political parties, for example, we are an ED. In a system of 72 registered parties, we have only 8 executive directors who are women. Who makes decisions in the party? It's the Secretary General, the party leader definitely, and the
ED.
ED. And if women do not have the percentages that we need in these key decision-making positions, then it means nobody will negotiate for them when it comes to positions that matter. When it comes to time for elections, and finances are a key issue of elections, we have systematic barriers for women to get into stable financial positions. When we start with land, there are some men who own land or who have inherited land who can give it all to the bank and they get a loan to be able to run for office. When as she said, cultural issues makes a lady not even know where to belong. If you're not in an urban area, for example, that accepts anyone, if you go run at your husband's place, they say you came, you are not from there. You go run at your father's place, they'll say you're supposed to, you don't belong here, you got married elsewhere. The same issue is in Mbarere Fest. And it's a big issue, so that's why I say it's really important for us to change the societal narrative. To be in a place where a young boy grows up knowing it is okay for a woman to be in leadership, and in fact be convicted that a woman is equal in leadership as a man is. So I really negate, or I abhor the question or the rationale, why did this woman fail? Or why did she participate in corruption? It means all of you. Or a question where people say a woman was abused or a woman gave birth on the street. Where are the women? It is not a woman's issue as per se who was elected. It is a systematic governance issue. Where's the Nairobi County government? Is the Nairobi County government headed by a woman? And people don't even know what the role of a woman representative is. And as such, any issue that is deemed feminine in society is placed upon the burden of a woman representative, not knowing if their offices are even well resourced, not knowing the roles that the Constitution puts out for the women, or the rationale that the people who are the committee of experts and the committee that drafted the Women's Day position, not even knowing the idea they had behind creating the women representative positions.
All right. Now, following the CJ's advisory to the president, this is a topic that has been there from the very beginning, but it has become a hot issue. Now, the question is, what do you think are the practical solutions to actually achieving this two-third gender rule? Yes, Eda.
I think the best way we can achieve the two-third gender rule is just, as I said, first is security. So we have to give security to women. Second, we have to support each other. We are a majority. When we look at women and youth, they are majority in this country. If we have women and youth supporting other women, and why am I bringing it like that? You'll find that rumors among women, they're able, moshene, we call it moshene, they're able to peleka moshene and gossips and break each other up. So we need to start supporting each other. And you see, our men, and I will still say our men, know our weaknesses. They already know, okay, this one wants to be elected. And this person is powerful than even that man. But the man knows if I hold 2 or 3 women, we start, there's a gossip, there's a war, they will say, maybe this woman is not married, maybe this woman is doing ABCD, And you find that those women who can achieve a lot for this country are not elected. At the end of it, they are out of the way. And then another thing we also look at is our parties. The parties, whether it's Jubilee, whether it's ODM, whether it's NASA, they also need to respect women. Because if a party does not respect women, they make sure they say, oh, you people, you'll be nominated. So give way for the men. So you can imagine a party telling you, okay, you can manage, yes, if we give you this position, we give you this ticket, we know you can achieve it, but kindly let's give way to this one, we will nominate you. We need to stop the story of nomination. We need to say if a party has even many women coming in to fight for this ticket, give them the chance, provide security. And in any polling station, in case there is wrangles or fights, let them nullify that. Because I'll give you an example. In 2017, in an area called Tasi in Embakasi, where we are doing the Jubilee Party nominations, you find that because they knew there will get more votes, they try cause some wars and some fights.
Like we witnessed something like that yesterday.
And you see the people who are being tear gassed are women. You can imagine you have talked to that Mama Mboga. You have talked to that woman that I will help you. You'll achieve what you've been dreaming of if you take this position. And these women carry their children on their back to go vote for you. They queue on the line to vote for you.
Yeah.
But now the other man who feels like you're a threat organizes the way there will be fights and wrangles. And tear gas is done. And you can imagine you're carrying your child at the back and there is tear gas. Definitely you'll go back.
You'll
home.
go back.
You won't come back for that vote.
Yeah.
You will say, "I wacha tu venye kutaenda." So we need to provide security and know that on those queues to vote,
Yes.
there are women queuing,
Yeah.
there are young people queuing, and I can tell you a lot. If you monitor, if you give security during election time, you'll find more women going to vote.
Yeah.
Because you already know I won't be pushed. But the thing that you're going to the line, and by the way, I wish there is this, the way we are saying, keeping distance.
Yeah.
Because if we keep distance, at least women will feel comfortable to
go and
go and
queue.
place the
Yeah.
vote and vote for our people. So that is something that the government needs to look at.
Just to
But
retract.
just to before her point gets lost,
All right.
I
okay,
just
go ahead.
want to add something to what she said earlier, that some men can come and feed women moshene and stuff. And many people ask the question, why are women their own worst enemies? Why do women go not vote
Yeah,
for each other?
I was just about to ask the same thing.
The same
'cause
thing.
She said about women gossiping, and the follow-up question to that was, you feel like women are not in support of each other, they tend to tarnish each other, or what is it?
Let me just say this. I actually wanted to respond to that point and say the fish rots from the head. And the society we are in, we should not divide the society into men versus women or women versus men.
Yeah.
We are supposed to be a society that is
Oneness.
homogeneous and together. And let me tell you, you cannot teach a child something that at 18 you want to teach them different behaviors than the ones they have grown up with. Even these women have grown up in patriarchy.
Yeah.
They know, they believe, our mothers believed, and that is how they brought us up. They believed that the men are supposed to lead, they're supposed to. And that is what actually Prince Harry made a meme, a comment in one of his gender empowerment sessions, and he says, for us to achieve gender equity, it cannot be women alone who fight for the rights of women.
Yes.
The men also have to come out and say, for my daughter, for my child,
Yes.
this is the society I want to create. As such, it is very important. And that was the rationale even of having Duale present the bill as a leader of majority, so that we have more allies who see and understand. And you know, when you say women are their own worst enemies, it's because they don't know any better. They have grown up knowing that even when a man walks in, you stand.
Or you kneel.
Exactly. So even when a woman comes and tells them, oh, I want to lead, how?
Yeah.
At the same time, because of this imbalance, they never even have the financial resources to imagine they can be anything better.
So we need to go back to our culture and modify, because times are changing, seasons are changing.
Things are changing, and what is funny is that most men want their daughters to be the best they can be in the world.
Yes.
And so the only thing I'm saying, be the change you want to see in the world. Create that path by where you are in your workplace, in your shamba, in your community village. Create a path that is easier for your daughter to navigate.
Yes.
Because if you don't create that path now, when your child comes, they have to face the same problems that we have had to face. And the reason why we fight revolutions is so that our children
can have it better,
can have it easy, so that they don't have to go through what we went through.
All right, there's something you talked about, Ed, about parties. And one thing is that the Katiba ruling says that IEBC should not receive any list, or rather shall not receive any list, if these parties have not enacted the two-third gender principle. But how practical is this?
Okay, one thing I'll tell you about IEBC receiving the party list. Yes, it's well documented that 45 days before elections they receive the party list. But I will frankly tell you like this. I remember on 8th August 2017, when we voted in our team. And I remember we were standing by 6 piece for our parties. But I can tell you the list that was there in IEBC on 8th was doctored and doctored. I think it was doctored for like 2 months after elections, until now the final list was released. If I can give you the list, I can give you a list of IEBC of 25th July. Before, those were like around, are they like 13 days before elections?
Yeah.
And that list was there until elections. But if I give you that list, you'll just get shocked. Because you can imagine on the list I was number 4. You can imagine I was number 3 to be nominated. But before the list was gazetted, because everyone says a party can do anything.
Yeah.
But I feel IBC is not protecting our interest when it comes to the party list. Because we women, we know that when you gazette, if you have an issue, there is an arbitration.
Yeah.
But when the final list after arbitration
nothing much
has
you can
been
do
given,
about it.
you shouldn't tamper with it.
Yes.
And mostly what irritates is the list as per 8th August. I think if we can work on before an election is on 8th, 48 hours,
Yes.
party list to be released.
And
So that as people go to vote on 8th,
They already know.
they already know
Yeah.
if our party doesn't meet the numbers, these are the people to be nominated. So that those people who win these positions, and they feel, when they get this ticket, they feel they're the ones saying no.
Yeah.
They come, they put their girlfriends, they put their, others even put people who are not voters. And I can tell you, if you look at scrutiny at that list, like for Nairobi County, you'll find that no Kalenjin. By the way, if I look at that list, I'm not seeing any Kalenjin nominated. And you wonder what happens to the tribal.
Yeah.
There is one tribe that was nominated
Majority.
and you wonder, because your party, the party leader is from that tribe, doesn't mean that it's only that tribe that put in that position.
Yes.
We came up with all tribes in Kenya
Yeah.
to put into that position. So there's problems, there's favorism,
Yeah.
and that's why you're seeing our country and even Nairobi counties in this crisis. Because if we put the right leaders in those positions, right now we could not be having the girl child suffering.
Yeah.
We could be having girl child empowerment. We could not be having the girl child calling herself a slave,
Yeah.
or even us calling ourselves slave mama sometimes. But at those challenges people face during that time, we could be having at least the right people in the county, the right women in the county doing something. But I'm not saying the people there are bad.
Yeah.
It's your luck. God, I will just say God planned for you to be there. But next time, let's be fair and just.
Okay. And
I just wanted to contribute to this because I am from the political party side. I sit on the board of political parties in the steering of PPLC. And these are political party issues that people have complained about for a long time.
And things are not changing.
And things are not changing. And that's why I keep on repeating, as a woman candidate, do you know your election board members? Do you know who are going to run the party primaries? And if we're talking about 2/3 gender rule, it should start from political party NEC, political party board,
Yes.
elections board, even at the PPDT, which is the arbitration place for political parties dispute. They should all implement 2/3 gender rule. Because some cases you're presenting in front of men, you want to explain what happened on the ground. They ask questions that they may not understand from a gender perspective.
I like what you're saying. Like, it's not just upon a woman to enact this principle, to make this to the gender rule achievable.
Yes.
It is upon everyone.
It is upon everyone.
Yeah.
It is a societal issue. And that's why I repeat, for gender equity to be achieved, it cannot be just women alone who fight for this, who fight for it. And in just, demystifying further the issue of political parties, we really need to unpack political parties and not have favoritism, because right now, the reason political parties cannot be institutionalized is because the political parties fund has been relegated to two parties only. Yet we have 72 political parties.
Yes.
And for you to register a political party in Kenya, you have to have a minimum of 1,000 members in 24 counties. So this is not a small number of people. And if you leave the political party to be run by an individual's pocket, who is the party leader, then it means this party leader is at his or her discretion
to do what they want,
to reward his loyalists and followers in the party list and everything. And actually, one of the issues that people were looking at, even as we were going to the 2010 constitution, was, should we go for proportionate representation, where we publish the party list in advance, so that when you campaign, you're campaigning for people you already know. But of course, because of the institutionalization, the lack of institutionalization of political parties, and the lack of access to political parties fund, which makes these parties vulnerable, then it is subject to manipulation. But again, as she said, we really need to ensure that IEBC is also not spared in this corruption fight. Because of course, a lot of things take place
Yeah.
in the altering or disaltering of the party list. And some people even feel they submitted themselves at first and IBC's allocation or whatever. So that was the spirit of creating the Political Parties Liaison Committee to create a dialogue platform. This was a recommendation from the Kriegler Commission after the 2007 general election, PV, yes. And its main mandate was to create a platform where ORPP, IEBC, and political parties can sit in a tripartite agreement of open dialogue to ensure that the mischief, suspicion, and all these issues are not experienced moving towards an election. Remember when we went to war in 2007? It was because nobody believed IEBC.
Yes.
There was no communication between the parties.
And we almost saw the same thing
in 2013.
Yes.
Exactly. So we need to have, actually, for an election to be accepted by the people, political science says it needs to be accepted as legitimate.
Yes.
And for it to be legitimate, it needs to be perceived as free and fair
and credible. Yes.
So we need to really bring these institutions, ORPP, the PPLC from the political parties boards, and the IEBC onto a platform and really question them and even ask them to give us the roadmap to 2022. How are political parties liaising with Office of Registrar of Political Parties, with the IEBC? And I think we need to bring PPDT on board because currently also funds are another thing that are making.
We cannot be expecting people to fund from their pockets.
Exactly.
Yes.
Not even that. Not even the funds for the party, which is another thing, but funds for ORPP and PPDT. As a woman candidate, you have lost a nomination. That's why I'm saying we need to have women in the neck, in the boards. The first order of business is go to your party. Once the party has sat down in the neck or arbitration or elections board and you have not agreed, you go to PPDT. Now PPDT is not fully devolved. We need to have a situation where in a constituency, we have a PPDT office, we have an ORPP office. But currently, it's regional. And in some instances, you have to come to Nairobi. For PPDT in 2017-13, it was in Nairobi.
So now we need to see a change come 2022.
Yeah, and then you are being told, carry witnesses to Nairobi. And you are a woman who is struggling with finances. Where will people sleep in Nairobi? These are things we are overlooking. So in even empowering the woman, let's create systems that allow her to thrive as a woman candidate.
Yes. All right. The discussion is quite interesting as you're taking this in, that we are discussing about the gender debate. And one thing for sure is that we now understand that it is not just about women making this to the gender principle a reality, but it is upon everyone. It is not just about a woman to go and take up that position, but it is about what we are doing in the society in assisting this representative, this woman, to take that position. You can send in your comments. I'll be reading in your tweets on Twitter at JBN Television. Today we're also going to be checking up on our Facebook page, where you can also send in your comments at JBN Television. Now moving on swiftly, we've seen leaders come up. There are other leaders who've taken up positions. We have women who are governors, we have MCAs, cabinet secretaries, and so on and so forth. But now, for this woman who wants to join politics but does not know where to start, where to go, what is your advice for that lady, that woman out there who wants to join active politics?
Okay, I'll start by saying that you start from the grassroots. So don't just wake up and say, okay, I want to go for that position.
Yes.
You start from the grassroots. Look at what you want to deliver for the people. You're just not just going for the position just anyhow. So look at the weaknesses and be able to profile the area you want to stand for. I'll say, like when I stood for Embakasi in Embakasi East constituency, I looked at what did my people want.
Yes.
There was this issue of sewerage, and it's still there even up to now. So those are the things that I was looking at. I'll help my people in sewerage and everything, because I'm looking at that small child when it rains who goes to school and has to pass with gumboots through that sewer problem and everything. I was also looking at how do I upgrade my people? How do I help my people be able to achieve their dreams? And that's why I'm also going back to the issue of women funds and youth funds. And you're finding that this money is still not reaching the ground people, the grassroots people. And that's why you see us keep on saying, if we had gender, proper presentation, or elected leaders who are women, we could be seeing these women funds properly reaching us on grounds. So we don't, and we still, as we approach 2022, we cannot stand and say there's these women funds that help our people in our constituency or in our wards.
Yeah.
We cannot be able to say there's these youth funds that help people in our constituency. All and every day we keep on crying is bad roads. And we wonder if we cried for bad roads in 2017.
Why are we
are
crying
approaching
for bad roads in
2022.
2022?
Thank you. And we are
Yes.
still hearing county days money. We are still seeing people being taxed and everything. Where is this money going to?
Yeah.
So those are the key areas we are looking at. But I'll tell the young women, keep your dream. I think on 2017, I campaigned for 3 months towards nomination. And I saw support for the people in my area in Embakasi. They were ready to support. The only challenge is they kept on telling me, Madam Eda, I hope you came in earlier.
Yeah.
Because right now, 3 months too, we have already given our promises to others.
Other people.
But kindly come next time. And this time round, I'm telling them, I'm already. I declared my position and I'm on it.
Yes.
So they won't tell me again, come, you could have kujat earlier. Now I'm with them until 2022. So I'll support them, and that's why we are here to support them. And you have to support the girl child. And that's why we are telling the president, as long as CJ Maraga said you dissolve parliament, sit down and think you're that young parent who has a girl child. And you want your girl child to be brought up in the better way. Let's forget about the past. But let's look at this upbringing of the girl child. Can you empower the girl child? And to empower the girl child is now. And you leave a history in this country.
Just before you get to Anika, we have been seeing not only women, but leaders, men, the disabled and so on, come up or come out when it's nearing election time. You want to help people. You've talked about the sewerage issue, but you're only seen when you're campaigning. Like I think you should also talk about that, because they told you could have come earlier, but then even when you did not get that position at that time, you have said you're still with them, which is something good to look at in the society. What of those people who we only see them when it is time for campaigns, but when they get the position, or rather when they do not get a position, they are nowhere to be seen? Could it be that they are only there for positions and not to help the society?
I'll be able to tell you, and also to tell my fellow politicians, right now when Maraga said dissolve parliament on gender issue, by one side or another I was feeling God is coming back to this country of Kenya, because we have lost a lot. If you look at from 2017 to up to now, you cannot stand and say there's great development, because we are all in the political mood. But one thing I was happy when he said that is because those MPs, those governors who pack money to rush last minute, maybe in 2021 from August, to campaign and put big posters, drive big cars, give good money. If elections is to be called right now, you're given 60 days or 90 days to elections, I think majority want to go back to that parliament.
True.
Because already you have not achieved your goals. What you promised the people, you have not achieved. And I think that's the time we women will manage to secure these positions. So we are ready as women to take the positions, and we are still going back to our president and saying you need to leave a legacy, and this is the right time to empower a girl child. These people need to be told right now, they're going for elections, so that someone will go back and say, what did I do to my community? And that this one will enable us that once you get this position, you'll be giving yourself the first 1 year, 2 years, 3 years to perform. Then you start relaxing on your final years, knowing the ground is good.
You did what you
But
promised.
now we elect them. They come, they pour the money. We elect them. They start recovering the money. We don't see them. They don't pick the calls. So you find grassroots, they are calling you now, come assist, come assist. So that is something we need to look at. But I have a feeling that women, they multitask. And I believe that if women are given these positions, they're given security, as I said, they even be able to be financed for their campaigns, they get those positions, I believe they'll be able to deliver some of the things. We're not saying our men cannot deliver. Yes, they can. But once they get that position, they have that ego. This is me. This is my position. Then if this is you and this is your position, can you deliver what you told the people you will deliver?
Yes, Anika, what is your advice to that woman who wants to take up space in politics?
I would say information is power. Do your homework. know the area you're going into, know which polling stations are being used, know the voters. IEBC has a public register of voters. Know the voters of your area of jurisdiction where you want to campaign and where you want people to vote for you from. This is very important because most of the time, even you will find some of your most staunch supporters, the ones who are telling you tutakusaidia kutafuta kura, they are not registered voters where you're asking for votes. The second thing I would say, know everything to do with your political party.
Yes.
Some women are running, they don't know who is the county chapter head of the party, they don't know who's the head of the election boards, they don't know who signs the certificates after of the party primary, they don't know. Because there's a funny story Cecily Mbarere always says, where she won the primary, she went home. But because she used to give the askari 200 and chai kidogo tu, askari akampigia simu akamwambia, "Mom, si umeshinda? Si umeenda? Watu wamerudi hapa."
Wow.
She came very fast to see what was happening. Indeed, if she had not come, somebody could have woken up in the morning with a ticket.
Yes.
And you know, once it has ended, you go to court.
Yes.
There is no could have been, should have been.
Yeah.
A woman should also know that winning an election has 3 processes. You win the votes. You be declared the winner.
Yes.
You get the certificates. So some of us, because of lack of knowledge, we want to celebrate early. You have won the votes. You want to go and sleep. You are not looking at form, is it 16B or
34B?
34B.
Yes.
You are not looking at it when it is being written. You know, if that returning officer makes a mistake, that is a court case.
Yeah.
You live in court, somebody else, or sometimes you can, the form 34B and the certificate that has been written has 2 different people. That is a court case. So that's why I tell women, information is power. Know the processes of IEBC. Know the processes of, sometimes some people can even say agents walk out. Because you suffer for lack of knowledge. You walk out, you leave the people in the room.
And you're not supposed to walk out.
You're not supposed to walk out because you don't know your rights. So know your rights. And secondly, as I said, I'll reiterate, know who is in power. Know who is determining. Know the returning officer. Look for them. Let them know you. Know the IEBC official. Know your political party official. Know the secretary general. Know your executive director. Those are the people to fight for you when head comes to show. And lastly, I will tell them, it is a difficult game. And actually, people like rubbishing politicians. But let me tell you, many, if not 100%, 90% of politicians start politics with the dream of change. Most of them sit in an environment, look at how bad things are and say, I want to be the face of change. It is not easy to put yourself on a poster, to offer yourself for leadership. It is not easy. It comes with a lot of repercussions. And an Indian legislator says, before a woman runs, when a man decides to run, he calls his buddies and tells them, you guys, I'm running. This thing, we are taking it. He'll inform the wife, by the way, I'm running. And the wife, as society expects, you support your husband. But when a woman is running, she first starts a preparation process. She prepares her children. She prepares her husband. She prepares her family, her workplace, her church. It is after their endorsement, their support, that she presents herself to society. Already,
after preparing.
Already that ground is unequal, uneven, because the men don't go through that process. So I tell the women, know your process, know yourself, and then know your environment, know where you're campaigning for, and then know your party. Sometimes you can really waste your time in big parties. Let me call them big or parliamentary parties. Sometimes you know very well Jubilee will not give you this ticket. Not because Jubilee is a bad party, but because the politics are high. You can see very well what happened in ODM.
Is stiff.
For example, when Sifuna was vying for Senate, there was a candidate in ODM. But because of optics, and politics is politics, Sifuna got the ticket within a minute. Same to Pasaris. Not that there were no women who are vying. So know where your chances are. And I want to tell the women of Kenya, there are 72 registered political parties which can even give you a free nomination. Ask yourself, is this party primary worth it? Because in some areas, like for example Nakuru County, after the Jubilee nominations.
Yes.
There was no campaign really. People, the temperature came down. You were waiting for elections to confirm. So sometimes do not despise. Go. You can start in a party that you don't have issues, and then you run a marathon, a sprinted race to the end, and you make it. Because there's an independent candidate. Is it in Nanyuki or like there's a county that has an independent candidate as a governor, yet there was a Jubilee candidate.
Yes.
So the people at the end of the day, the voters also listen to the people. As much as we have the 6-piece wave, there are people who have gotten there, the Muridis of the world, the independent candidates. But if you're in the right party also, it is half the battle. Sometimes being in the right party is half the battle.
Yes.
So also try to align it. That's why I always repeat, do not discredit political parties. They actually, we should invest a lot in our political parties because political parties dictate government policy.
Yes.
It's the same way in the US, the Democrats have policies that are synonymous with them, the Obamacare, the DACA, the immigrants, and the Republicans have gun control. Same place in Kenya. The government, before the handshake, the ODM opposition had its agenda, and so that is why we cannot discredit political parties. Political parties actually create the political narrative of the world. So for the young woman, or any woman asking to be or thinking about being in politics, first of all, start now. Start your journey now. Your journey may not be going to talk to people because she's running in parliament. I am not running. I run political parties. I am on the background. I create a system. And I also want to tell the larger civil society who invest in women in leadership, do not focus on just the woman. Focus on creating a system that supports the woman into power. By system, I mean the election boards, the political parties, the financiers, the media, the what. Let us create a system of support for women, not just a woman running or offering herself. Then when she looks behind, nobody to support. But if you find our fellow opponents who are our fellow men, let me call them our men, they're very organized. They have a system. If he calls IBC, he has someone. If he calls right here, we also need to empower or even train the women of IBC, the women of ORPP, and I'm very happy that we have a female ORPP who is actually very good at her job. So we cannot discredit. And I think the last thing I would say is just, at the end of it all, know your truth as a woman. Know what you can handle, know what you can take, be aware of your mental health, and then seek information and start. From whatever, if it means being a member of a party, going for a political rally, just being in the space, knowing what is going on, and don't wait. Don't wait. Start now.
Yes, just to reiterate on what Anika has said, as a woman and you want to join politics, start now. Something else she's also mentioned is that information is power. And one thing that I also want to reiterate on that is that you have talked of a man who will go and tell his wife, I'm running. Tell his children, I'm running. So reality kicks in as women, in as much as we might not want it, is that we know we are women and the culture dictates a number of things. Don't do what men do. Do what you can do as a woman in a society with men, with children, and so on and so forth, that you have to prepare. You prepare first, then go and tell the public, I am running. So as we're about to come to the end of our show, but just one more thing, that what do you propose is now the best solution to have more women in elected positions?
The solution, I would say, for me, to be honest, it's radical, but it would be proportionate representation. I think the first past the post system is very brutal, and it also dictates that if some people lose elections by 200 votes, 1,000 votes, that means if this area had 49,000 people and 24,000 voted for somebody else, it means 24,000 people do not matter. That is what first past the post system means. And, controlling that is difficult. And it is also prone to the issues of corruption because it becomes a do or die because of the high financial stakes that are involved. And this also locks out the the groups that are fitting within affirmative action. So for me, I think, and that is actually the stand of my party and the stand of the Greens, because my party is Green Congress of Kenya.
Yes.
We are the Green Party. We are a member of the Global Greens.
Yes.
The Greens advocate for proportionate representation. And if you look at some of the countries in England, in Sweden, it's working, proportionate representation. I know there are many bills. Mutula Junior has a bill.
Yes.
We have the Duale bill. We have all these bills. But you see, what we cannot answer right now is the pertinent question that why can't women compete electively?
Yes.
And society does not want to address the issues, the underlying issues that prevent women
from being those elected
So I feel
positions.
we need to change our electoral system and go for proportionate representation.
And then
Okay,
another
yes,
thing I can
Eda.
add on hers is, when we say the gender thing, is our human rights as women.
Yeah.
So it's something that when you deny us that position, you're denying us our human rights. I'll bring it like this. If you want more women to get to parliament,
Yes.
and this one will be, I think it's the best I can choose if I was the president of this country, is assume we're putting a wage bill of 1 billion per month to be paid to the parliamentaries,
Yeah.
or even let's say 100 million per month or half a million, or let's put a 1 billion
Yeah.
per month that has to be paid to the members of parliament. We'll do it so simple.
Yes.
If we meet the gender rule, at least it will be like 290 MPs in parliament
Yes.
with that gender rule represented. But assume the 290 are men,
Yeah.
and we have to top up for the gender,
Yes.
and maybe we add 100 or 120, making parliament to be from maybe 290 to like 400 or 420. As long as we pass the wage bill for the parliamentaries is 1 bill.
Yes.
Whether you come in 500, you'll share that 1 bill.
Yeah.
So this one will make our men to know,
Yes.
I want to earn more.
Yes.
So I have to make sure,
I get.
as I'm fighting for MP in our constituency,
Yes.
such and such and such constituency must be women.
Yeah.
So you find that they're the ones lifting us. They may even go to an extent of financing us.
Yes.
Because at the end of it, you're looking at, if you get to parliament, Kenyans have passed a wage bill of 1 bill, and it should not go more than 1 bill.
Yes.
So if the lesser we are, the more we go home with money. The more we are, we share the little we have. I think that one will be justice for all. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Eda. I'd like you to just, we'll start with you, Eda. You give your final remarks, your parting shot, your final thoughts as we come to our close.
For me, I would say at least women, and I'm talking about Kenya women candidates. I'm talking about the HNU movement. I'm also talking about Nairobi Nisisi. We have a movement of 85 wards aspirants of Nairobi County, which is Nairobi Nisisi. I'm just saying that we women, we need to reach there. And as a women leader, as a women representative in Nairobi Nisisi, as a women leader in Nairobi County, Kewoka, I say we women, we can achieve our dreams. So we empower each other, we empower the girl child, and we're also coming back to our men to tell our men, kindly support us. We will respect you. And we are saying that as a woman, when you get into politics, know the first rule and what God tells us all the time and talks to us is, let's respect our men. So men will respect you. So don't worry if we fight for those positions. We're only doing that to get in those positions for governance and for the best of our country. I don't have much to say on that, but to just thank JB TV for welcoming us for this event. And we look forward to coming back again.
Thank you. Yes, Anika.
Well, I would just say that my parting shot would be something I said earlier. And I would say this to everyone who says, why defend women? Why fight for gender equity? Why fight for women in leadership? Because if you are not at the table, you cannot discuss that is that which is going on.
Yes.
You cannot fight for that which you don't know.
Yes.
As such, we need to be on the table. And as such, for gender equity to be achieved, it cannot just be women who fight for gender equality. And by this, someone will ask me, what can I do? You need to be able to put resources behind the leadership programs or prospects of women. We really need to invest in women in leadership.
Yes.
And more so, invest in the systems that support women in leadership. Because we see when the Honorable Raila was going to power, we saw big billionaires
Yes.
behind him.
Yeah.
Yes.
We need to see that for the woman candidate. As such, I really reiterate, we need to be able to create systems that support. And lastly, I would say, we have girls watching.
Yeah.
For us who are youth, when Maraga disbanded or renegaded on the election, that was a historic moment for
Yes.
us. We need to be able to teach our girls that leadership is natural. It's okay
To be a leader.
to be a leader. And what many households have done, and that is the reason we have an issue today, because in the same household where we grew up, our generation, we were brought up in empowerment in the same household that a boy was brought
Well,
up in
yes,
patriarchy. So we have grown up and we can't agree.
Yeah.
This society is full of a lot of hatred. All this shocker, all this what,
Yeah.
it's a lot of hatred. Because this boy growing up was not taught what the girl was taught. Because we were taught to win, be number one,
Yes.
challenge
Yes.
the norms, break glass ceilings,
Prove them wrong.
prove them wrong. Then you get to 27, you're being told, calm down.
Yeah.
We don't understand. We really don't.
Yes.
So this is a call to society, a call to the education system. We need to normalize the presence of gender equity from the children.
Yes.
We need to normalize leadership of girls from a young age so that the generation that comes after us does not exist in the hatred we have here today. And for any woman who wants to be in the position of leadership, the first step is to speak up. You really need to speak up. Whatever is in your mind, speak up. And as much as, find the role, as much as the limelight is hard to be, if you cannot be in the limelight, then be in the system. Find a
Yes.
place for yourself.
Yes.
Either way, make a positive change in the women's movement.
Thank you. Thank you once again, Edda and Anika. You have had it. Thank you so much for making time for tonight's discussion. And for sure, there is much that we have learned. But then a point to note is that you consider the Proverbs 31 woman. This woman does not only gain trust from the husband or wakes up early at night to give meat to her household, but she also considers a field and buys it. This woman is fruitful in what she does. This Proverbs 31 woman knows kindness is in her tongues and her own works praise her. And for sure, with the discussion we have had tonight, this is the type of woman we are advocating for in our society, and not just in the households, but in taking up space in leadership positions in our country, and no matter the capacity, keeping them there, that we may grow and move forward as a nation. My name is Betty Muzarika, and until next time, same place, keep it JBN Television.